We came in on a mission from a mission one day. We were in Mustang. We changed over to Mustangs. That's another story. Uh, we came in one day in Mustangs, and the uh, crew chief jumped up on the wing and said the colonel said for you got to let us have your airplane immediately. We were sitting in there, filled out the Form 1 that you always had to fill out after the flight, and he said the colonel said to let us have your airplane immediately. We got to paint them. We said, paint them? Yeah, we have to paint black and white stripes on the wings and around the fuselage and so forth, on every airplane. And we just got till midnight to do it. And so we realized that something was happening. We didn't know it was D-Day, but that was the most obvious answer. Also, they had told all the enlisted men and ground officers, they were all given rifles and guns and sidearms and so forth, and they put them in trees and units all around the field. Nobody could leave or come into our field from that moment on. And even a couple of the local people who had cows on the field, I mean, not on the field, but on our property, they couldn't even leave with their cows. People that worked, British people that worked in the headquarters, so forth, were not allowed to go home. We leave the field, nothing. And so we were never actually told it was D-Day until we were briefed at midnight. We were called together and told by the flight surgeon to go to the Nissen huts and get some sleep and get some rest, that it looked like something was happening. So we all assumed that D-Day was there or coming up. We were briefed about midnight. We called for briefing about midnight, and we had never flown a night mission and never had taken off at night. And we were called for briefing, and they told us that, of course, what the plan was. They told us about D-Day, and the flight surgeon got up and he said, "The gentleman," he said, "I have been ordered to keep you flying until the beaches are secure." He said, "Even if I have to give you pep pills to keep you flying." We flew 3 missions on D-Day, 16 hours in the air. 3 missions. And so we went over the beaches 6 times. And but that's the first we knew about it, was at briefing. The guys had all the airplanes. There were 100 airplanes that we had on our field, and they had painted 100 airplanes with stripes, black and white stripes around the fuselage and around the wings. And the reason for that was that our Navy, we were going to be thousands of ships out there in the channel with guns, with anti-aircraft guns. And they were not familiar with our aircraft or the British aircraft that would be flying over them. So we didn't want to get friendly fire shooting us down. So that was the reason for the stripes. They were called the invasion stripes or the D-Day stripes. That was what they were for. It was kind of touchy and exciting to know that we were going to be doing it. And there were thousands of ships out there and everything. We went over them, and the weather wasn't very good on the missions, on the first mission anyway. We saw very little. We could maybe see some ships in a break in the clouds, but that was about it. And but our first mission, we set up a wall of airplanes. Now, just think about this. Counting the British, there were 1,000 fighters up that day. 1,000 fighters. We set up a wall of airplanes 50 miles south of the beaches, in sort of a semicircle south of the beaches, to keep any German aircraft from getting to the beaches. And we had airplanes from treetop level to 30,000 feet. It was just a wall of airplanes. Our biggest danger really was running into each other. But it was the first mission was a fairly easy one. Then on the second mission, we were given a little grid map, and we were flying in twos, and each tube was given a little grid map, and you kept it on your lap, and you just patrolled that sector of Normandy. And the orders were anything that moves toward the beaches is fair game. And you could shoot up trains, trucks, people, anything that was moving toward the beaches was target of opportunity. And we shot up everything: buses, trucks, trains, people, anything. Actually, I shot up a couple trains and shot up a couple trucks, and on the second mission, and on the third mission, according to my film, I shot up a dispatch rider on a motorcycle. My film shows him, the motorcycle going up and going into the ditch. But I thought I was, well, my orders were to shoot anything that moves toward the beaches. It had to be enemy. So that's what we did. I wasn't the only one. And we shot up, as I say, we shot up troops and trains and trucks and everything. It was a busy day. And when I got back from that mission, from my last mission, I could not get out of the cockpit. My legs were so stiff, and I was a young, strong kid, about 22 years old, and I couldn't get out of the cockpit. My muscles were so, from being in that position for 16 hours, I couldn't get out of the cockpit. My crew chief happened to be about a 6'5" guy, and my armorer happened to be about a 6'4" guy. And they got on the wing and reached in under my armpits and picked me up and set me on the wing. And I was okay after that. But D-Day was probably the most exciting day of my military career. It was a long day, but I'm very proud that I lived at a time when I could participate in that, because, a funny thing, several years ago, I was making a talk to an American Legion group, and the commander came up to me afterwards and he said, "You said you participated in D-Day." He said, "Have you gotten the French medal?" And I said, "No, I don't have any French medals." He said, "Well, we've been authorized to give you a medal. Anyone who can substantiate or certify that he was document that he was on participated in D-Day is eligible for this French D-Day medal." So I got a D-Day medal given to me by an American Legion commander that they'd been sent over by the French to distribute it in that way. But I had to send him my DD-214 to show him that I participated in D-Day.